It's ill sometimes.
Hey, he paused his
Yeah.
computer.
Yeah, right. Yeah. As you can tell, I'm even dressed the part of. Yeah. Well, here to talk about wrestling.
Welcome to the One Fall WrestleCast.
Gentlemen, what's up? Or should I say, welcome to 2.5 Men.
Derek, I'm glad to see you're alive.
Yeah.
Barely.
I just woke up, so this should be great.
Bro, you're
taking a nice little
super
Robitussin
camera
nap.
ready.
Yeah. I'm feeling fresh. Feeling real
Good.
good.
That's awesome. So typical recording night. I'm trying to find Derek, and I messaged his dad, sent his dad a text message, and I finally saw that his wife was online, and I said, "Hey, funny story. I'm trying to find your husband." She's like, "Oh yeah, he's asleep on the couch. He's not feeling good. I'll wake him up." I said, "Don't need to do that." And then here you are.
Here I am.
Yeah,
We'd have let sleeping dogs lie.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It'll be all right.
All
We'll
right.
get through it. If I happen to mute myself or stop mid sentence and for random reasons unbeknownst to everyone else, it's just because I'm having a coughing fit and I muted myself. So
That's
you
fine.
know,
You have a button, right?
yeah. Glad
Yeah.
we tested that on the microphone itself recently
Yeah.
to find out that does not work.
Yeah.
Otherwise, that would be an issue.
So, real funny story. I gotta tell you guys before we get into wrestle talk, right? So this week I had my first encounter with a intoxicated guest inside of my restaurant.
Really? Your first encounter?
Well, as you know, the new guy, right?
As okay, yeah. As the guy with the name on the name on the wall, yeah.
There's a whole like different level of professionalism that you have to approach that situation with now.
Saying you can't just huck him into the parking lot. Like...
So I do the thing, right? I walk, and he was cool, he was whatever. Yeah, I'll pay and I'll leave, just leave. Because I was like, hey man, finish your beer, like life's good, just calm down, finish your beer, and pay and head on out, right? So as soon as I walk away, apparently he walks back into my kitchen and he walks up to his server and he says, "Hey honey, I'm trying to find the big fat guy. Yeah, old turkey tits over there." Yeah. So
He knew you weren't allowed to hit him.
I had a guest call me turkey tits this week, and I mean, listen.
I'm glad I woke up for this.
Wait, do turkeys still?
Listen, I don't know, but I'm telling you what, I had a field day with it, right? As somebody that has been self-deprecating for their entire life as a overweight young man, right? I just wish that this man would have said this to my face so that we could have laughed together, right? Because that was a new one for me.
That's definitely new to me.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with that this week. My wife, we actually went to a wedding this weekend, and I was telling the story to some folks at the wedding, and my wife pulls out the old Google machine and Googles turkey tits. And let's just say there's a lot of interesting things on Google when you Google turkey
why'd you have
tits.
To tell me that. No, I gotta Google it.
All of which are I would say PG-13, but hilarious.
All right, Google images. What do we got?
Oh man.
So like obviously my wife now at this wedding that I've told this story to is sharing all of these photos, these pictures that are on the old Google, right? So just to kind of let everybody kind of take a look here. So there's some seriously funny stuff. When it comes to the turkey tits. I mean, this one.
I'm not mature enough for this.
This one here is a personal favorite. So
oh man.
Yeah. So that was my wedding experience this weekend. as well as things that just were so much fun. But yeah, I got called turkey tits, and I wasn't there to enjoy it with the guy.
Oh, I'm so glad you shared that.
Well,
Wait, so how did the story end? Like, did he pay and leave, or
yeah,
did
he paid and paid and he walked out the door. So
He just had to pop into your kitchen and insult
Yeah.
you real quick, or
Yeah.
attempt
I
to
see.
insult you real quick. Honestly, that couldn't have gone better, truth be told, because like it could have been a nothing burger, right? He could have just paid and left, but instead, caveat, he made a little detour, just a little detour, didn't really cause any extra trouble.
right.
Just called you the funniest name you could have thought of at that point.
So the best part of the whole thing for me, right, was like I went back to what I was doing. I was working on some shit, and the server that he had asked to come and get me comes into the office, and she goes, "Hey, Walt, the gentleman with the bar, yeah, he come back in the kitchen, and he told me he wanted to talk to you, and I don't really like what he said." And I'm like, well, what did he say? And the server says, "Yeah, I'm not going to tell you that." And I said, no. Like, you have to tell me what he said. And she goes, yeah, he just wants you. So I walk out, and I'm immediately met by 3 kitchen staff guys. It's like, whoa, what's up, turkey tits? So that's how I found out.
Save it for the guys on the grill line to
Fucking kitchen.
They were not. They weren't there to save your feelings. They were there to tell you exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because they died behind the bar. They died back there.
Oh.
When he said that, they all went, "What the? He just said turkey tits? What the hell?" And they just died.
They could not wait until they saw me to say it.
It was
could
like
not wait.
They were like, "Oh God, I get to tell Walt first."
Yeah,
they were so excited.
They loved every second of it.
I'm sure they did.
So, gentlemen, now
so
that the turkey tits aside, let's talk about some wrestling here, huh?
Yes, let's.
Lots happened this week.
So much wrestling.
Yeah, there was a lot. Listen, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't watch all of it. I just did not have the physical time.
I didn't watch Friday. I didn't watch the second part of AEW. I didn't watch AEW part 2.
I did not either.
It was too much and too late. It was like 5 days in a row, and I just could not. I could not double feature on Friday. I just didn't have it in me.
Overload this week.
I'm sure it was a good show. I just didn't have it in me.
Well, I mean, CM Punk beat Will Hobbs.
He did.
I mean, yeah.
I figured that was going to happen. Then we had the super click.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was fun. Although I don't really like the Young Bucks. I preferred Adam Cole's singles match on Wednesday. I'm sure.
Yeah.
It was a banger.
So speaking of the Young Bucks, Tom, your buddy Dave, Mr. Meltzer.
Mr. Dave.
Yeah, he kind of sent out a funny tweet this week. At least I thought it was funny. Tom, you might have thought it was funny too.
I thought it was hilarious. I didn't laugh as hard as I did at the turkey tits joke, but I thought it was a funny tweet.
So Meltzer tweets out, Derek, and in case you missed this, Dave Meltzer tweeted out that in his opinion that he thought that the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks was better than the TLC 2 match at WrestleMania 17 between Edge and Christian, the Hardys, and the Dudleys. And I looked at this and I laughed, and so it made it. As much as like I enjoyed the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks, right?
Sure.
It was a great match. I enjoyed
absolutely.
Yeah. I've gushed over this WrestleMania 17 match for, I don't know, 20 years.
I would say, are we at 37 yet?
Like,
it's been
it's like the gold standard, right? Like, this is the WrestleMania match that stole the show, and like could steal the show every single year if it was played.
Yeah,
like, that's how good this match was.
They just put it on the Titantron and it would steal it.
And I would be okay with the price of admission to watch that, right?
Right.
So Dave intrigued me here. So I went back and I watched both matches side by side. One right after the other.
That's good. That's real journalism.
Yeah,
right there.
yeah. There you go.
Well,
I'm proud of you.
the thing is, like, I really like that match, TLC
Right.
2. That's
Who
the gold
didn't?
standard.
Yeah. Who did?
Gold standard. So maybe I missed something in the translation to 2021, right? I didn't.
No.
I didn't at all.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't say that I watched it this week, but I've watched it this year, actually, and it's just, I mean, all right. This is what I said. Dave Meltzer has been off his rocker lately in ways that are just random. It's like he's normal, standard, run of the mill Dave. Well, they did this, they did that, and then he just goes out on a limb and is like, oh, this AEW thing was better than this legendary match. This legendary thing that happened. And it's like, Dave Meltzer, are you on that Vince McMahon cocktail of snorting freaking cocaine and horse Viagra and like injecting sheep dewormer all at the same time, like that crazy Vince McMahon cocktail? Have you lost your mind, man? Have you lost your marbles? And this is like where like Jim Cornette comes down hard on Dave, right? When like Dave says crazy shit like this. And
yeah,
it's just like,
I mean, as most of us do, but Cornette especially.
Cordy's like, "What, Dave? I know you. Like, are you drunk? Like, what is this? Like, what would compel you to like compare this to that?" It's like, I'm not saying, this isn't as crazy. There's been times where Dave's like said something that I thought was garbage was just as good as like Flair versus Steamboat. When it's like, no, you're drunk. Just shut up, Uncle Dave, and clean up your office, please.
Yeah, well, that's not going to happen.
No, he's going to die. He's going to drown in his papers. That's how they're going to find him, just to drown in paper. Can you drown in paper? I think you can.
They're papers of lies, so it's possible.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, so, I mean, I can't see how. First of all, the beauty of the TLC match was not only the match itself, but the build to it. These three teams, while they had, they had seen each other a decent amount in the lead up to it, it wasn't an overexposed thing. This has to have been the Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks. I mean, God, they did that match every week, right? And I mean, I know it's not necessarily their fault. They just didn't have the talent to not like they had to close the show.
That's a fair assessment.
Yeah, I mean, it's not their fault, but like they beat this horse to death before they had this, right? This horse, like as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh my God, I got to see this for the 85th time. And it's this horse had been beaten to death. And was it the best Lucha Brothers versus Young Bucks match that they had in AEW thus far? Yes, it was. And I don't think anybody will disagree with that. However, was it legendary status? No. It was a good pay-per-view match.
Yeah. I enjoyed it a lot. Like,
sure, I'm not for the first time in the history of this podcast, I'm not trying to crap on a Young Bucks match. I'm just trying to say that it was not legendary just because they finally put on a good, not exactly super spot fest pay-per-view quality match. I'm just saying they put on a pay-per-view quality match, good for them, but I don't think that makes it legendary just because Dave Meltzer thinks that them putting on a pay-per-view quality match is the greatest thing in the world. I don't know.
No, I agree. Derek, what about you, bud?
It seems to me someone probably just pissed him off at WWE, and he decided that he's got more access over here at AEW, and everybody knows that I'm the AEW guy. I love AEW. It's great. And it was a great match. But I actually went back and watched the WrestleMania 17 match today. Thank you, Walt, by the way, for having that set up for me.
Yes, sir.
And yes, it is. It doesn't touch. There's no way that match is fantastic. It will not be topped in the near future, I doubt. I don't know how you could get all that in the same breath to say that. Yeah, that was better than that. No, there's no way. I would say it's definitely a matter of access as far as, oh, well, these guys won't talk to me anymore, so I'm going to shit on them, and I'm going to shill for AEW because they give me a little more access to their guys, and these guys will talk to me more, and it's how he works. It's his business model, and good for Dave, So you can't hate the guy, and I guess he's got to make a little controversy to get his name out there a little bit. I mean, you can, yeah.
I mean,
Sure.
we talked about it though, so I guess you're right. I mean, I really think the thing about that TLC 2 match, WrestleMania 17, was the fact that there were 3 teams involved. So the action never ever stopped. I can't remember how long that match went. I want to say it goes.
I was like, listen, top to bottom, like from entrances to celebration was like 27 minutes.
I would say I want to say
Yeah,
the
I
match
guess like
itself.
25. So yeah,
I want to say the match itself goes about 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was 20 minutes of nonstop. Like it's highlight reel. It's 20 minutes of highlight reel is all it is.
100%.
And it's at no point is anybody off. At no point does everything looks perfect. And if they've done interviews about this over the last 20 years and stuff. They worked on this match. They practiced this match. They were out there working on spots and figuring out spots. Where does this table go? Where does this ladder go? Where does that go? What if something goes wrong? They had like backup plans. And like these guys really like, and I feel like that's kind of the thing that like that's a very WWE thing, is that like the match is set, right?
Yeah.
You have all these set pieces, and it's like, and if the set goes wrong, especially for like the top tier guys, like those guys all went on to be main event stars, and they were at the time,
Except for Devon.
Except for Devon. You know what?
He's
Devon,
the only one.
most underrated guy ever, right? I mean, was
Yeah.
anybody? I mean, he was more of a ring general setup guy, but and he was a good hot tag too. He was the Dawkins.
Dude, the Dudleys were so fucking good.
Right?
Like,
How good were the Dudleys? Anyway,
Truth.
but yeah, no. So those guys, they really had it laid out, and it was crisp. It was to the point. I feel like AEW stuff is not. It's not at that level, right? Yeah, it's not at that level. It's just not. It's not. It's more indie still. Yet. It's more indie, but that's fine. It's not. It's different, but it's just not. I feel like the highs on what WWE is, especially back then when you had, that when the stars aligned and you had that just group of talent of like the older talent at the time, where you had your Stone Colds and The Rock and Triple H, the main event talent, but you also had that talent coming up behind them. Those guys were hot as hell too, and it was just like, you could have a WrestleMania 17 where it's a hot card from start to finish, and the first match could steal the show. And like that could be it, or the main event could be one of the greatest matches you've ever seen. But it was just one of those like stars aligned time where it's just like the right people with the right amount of knowledge and the right amount of training and the right level of veteranship, right? Because all those guys were not fresh.
No.
They'd been there. They'd been around a few years at that point in time.
100%.
But that was just like they put on a veteran level match, but they were like mid card guys, and then it blew up from there. And
for sure. And Tom, one thing that you brought up that I want to double down on is the fact that like there was nonstop action, right? Even whenever they were setting up their big spots, like there was the one point in time where they had the triple ladder spot where all 3 teams climbed, their own ladders, and they had the little fist fight at the top. There was action around them setting that up while I was paying attention to it because like I wanted to see, what I'm saying, how they did it and what they were doing, but there was action around there. Some of it was a little sloppy, but like you're trying to set up this next spot, but you've got to keep action moving. And I think that they did an excellent job like setting up their spots while still maintaining action in the ring and action going around. And a lot of that has to do with WWE and their production values too. Making sure that they were hitting the right shots and this and that and the other. And, the Attitude Era, man, it was so gritty. And like just going back and watching that this week, it was a lot of fun to just remember, and relive some things from like my younger days, and then I could see why Dave would make this comparison though, right? Because, you watch the Lucha Bros versus the Young Bucks and you put them side by side and, with this match, and there was a lot of highlights in this match too, man. Let's not go away from that. The one thing that I think really set the 2 matches apart for me though was that WrestleMania 17, man. That match had something that the Lucha Bros and the Young Bucks didn't have, and that was violent intent. Like, some of these spots, man, like the power bomb, through the table. God, dude, Bubba laid that shit in. And then, you know, and then like when Jeff Hardy comes off that ladder through those tables with Rhino and Spike Dudley on him, man, that's wild. It's just the way that he hits.
He lays that in stiff.
Yeah, like it's
He
there's
hurt himself bad on that spot.
But they also caught all of that.
Right.
Those guys caught every pound of his weight.
And then whenever he sat up, like you could even hear on the camera him going, ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you know, he knew he hit that one stiff, right? But you know, in the Lucha Bros and Young Bucks, man, it was an awesome match. Like I enjoyed watching it back again yesterday. And it just, you could tell that it was more take care of your buddy. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's great. It's great, but it's just two different matches from two different eras. And for me, man, it's hard to compare apples to oranges. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Not the same.
And
Well, and it was a cage match versus a TLC match too,
Yeah.
which is just not. I mean, it's not like cage matches are great, but they're just there's camera issues. It like because of the cage, like that comes into play, and then you know it's just not the same. And there was only 4 guys as opposed to 6 guys, so
Right.
you know
I think
maybe if there were
that's a big factor. And like you said with the cage, I mean, there's only so much you can do. I mean, with the TLC, there's so much room for accessories that we can then add into this match.
so many accessories, tables,
Mhm,
ladders,
mhm.
and chairs. Lots of accessories, and you know, for better or worse, generally probably for worse, the open head chair shots were still a thing.
oof,
I was
There were-
about to
and-
bring that up. How about those chairs were sounding
goodness
stiff? They
gracious.
sound way different nowadays, do they not?
that's because it's not hard metal on cranium.
Listen,
It's
Spike Dudley took a chair shot in
Yeah.
the middle of that match, and the sound of that chair was fucking brutal.
it's
Like
Mhm.
I cringed because I was sitting at my desk here and I was watching it on this monitor, and man, that hit, and I just went, ooh. You don't
You
catch
heard
that
it.
kind. Yeah, like you don't
No.
catch that kind of stuff these days.
No, because that's bad for your brain. Like that's
Yeah.
bad for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's
not-
bad for life.
Like we don't want to kill anybody anymore. So it's yeah, we don't want these guys to die. So you know, for their sake, for literally for their sake, I'm glad that like they're not taking like these unprotected chair shots. Just
Yeah,
like those, just like oh my god, like
they take your breath away nowadays.
I can still hear them in my head from when I heard them. Like, you know what? Plenty of guys took them back in the day. If that's your thing, go rewatch that. A lot of those guys are dead. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
you know?
it does. It take that kind of shit takes your breath away nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So, Dave, man, bro,
Cut
You-
it out.
you need to reevaluate this.
Yeah.
You need to reevaluate this one, bud.
Go suck on someone else's lucha titties. This ain't working.
I hear there's a turkey floating around Pennsylvania somewhere.
Yeah, we can direct you to a nice set of turkey tits.
Oh shit!
What's our
Come
next
on down to
topic?
Bridgeville.
What's
Hey.
our next topic?
So you know, everybody, PWI 500 came out last week, 2 weeks ago, some shit like that. Kenny Omega was number 1. Roman Reigns was
Oh.
number 2.
Yeah.
So surprised.
You know, much to Tom's
Well,
dismay, I'm
Roman
sure.
only has one belt.
Right. Well, Kenny only has one right now too. Well, no, that's not true, right? He's holding some kind of other bullshit.
He's got 2. He's got AAA and he's got AEW.
Okay. All right.
So, but
Okay.
Kenny Omega, Tom's favorite
My favorite wrestler
wrestler in
besides
the
Joey
world,
Janela.
besides Joey Janela, called out Roman Reigns this week, and he said, "Yeah, man, I'd love to wrestle Roman Reigns and show him what a real champion's all about." Yeah.
Kenny Omega ain't even the best champion AEW's had,
Ugh.
let alone.
Kenny Omega's not the best champion that AEW has right now.
That's a good point. No, he's not. He's really. It's
I
like
said what I said.
It's like that old.
Hot take.
It's like that old Beatles quote. It's like, is Ringo the best drummer in the world? Ringo's not even the best drummer in the Beatles. Is Kenny the best wrestler in the world? Kenny's not even the best wrestler in the Elite. That now.
No, that belongs to
Adam Cole, baby.
100%.
Boom. But yeah, no, it's
What'd you say?
I feel like you're like, oh man, he's all medicined up and just woke up. Let's shit all over everything that he's usually all about, and then he won't have time to think of nice little clips
we got
come back with.
We got lots of shit. Lots of things for the shitting. So, God, Kenny Omega. Man, I can't. He's really been the worst, and I feel like I've said this before. He's really been the worst AEW champion thus far.
Oh yeah,
Like,
you and Derek went rounds on that.
I'm just saying, it's like it's at this point, I feel like it's undisputed. I feel like Jericho's reign was really good. Moxley's reign was pretty good until the end that they just screwed him over.
Wait. Did you just compliment John Moxley?
No, I did, but he's not doing main event guy stuff.
Oh, okay.
Right now.
I was just making sure.
Yeah.
We
No. Look,
I'm still on that nonsense.
Look, I'm telling you, I'm saying when he had to rise to the occasion, he rose to the occasion. But I'm not.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just saying I'm not a fan of what he's doing right now is dumb. But anyway,
living his best wrestling life. Hurt.
Right. He later. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, you want to live your best wrestling life. That's fine.
He's done everything he needs to do.
Well, then fuck off. I don't know what you want me to say. Like, it's just
just let him live his life, pal.
All right, great. Well, then he's not a top guy.
We're sorry that he's not entertaining you, Tom.
He's not.
Tom the Almighty.
Look, he wants to live his best wrestling life. And if his best wrestling life includes him not being a top guy, then that's fine.
God bless him.
And he's not a top guy.
Tom, I am not going to continue to let you come in here week after week and disparage the goddamn good name of John Moxley, okay?
He's not a top guy. Damien's smiling at me. Hi, Damien. And but anyway.
Hi.
Anyway, so he's just not a top guy. But anyway, Kenny Omega, back to Kenny Omega and being a champion. Man, had he said this to like Bobby Lashley or like who was the Fiend? Had he said it to the Fiend? Or who was the champion before the Fiend? Braun Strowman. Had he said it to Braun Strowman, I'd have been like, yeah, you know what? That's not a dumb comment exactly. However, saying it to like good God, to Roman Reigns is the best champion WWE's had in
I don't know, 30 years
since Hulk Hogan. I mean, it's really
man. But you listen, we're being facetious, right? Because like WWE's had a lot of great champions, but like
sure, John Cena, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Edge, I mean, Edge, Undertaker. But I get where you're coming from. It's like I'm
just saying he's not like Roman Reigns is that like he's that level of elite, and like Kenny Omega's not. Like he's not even the best champion AEW's had. So like, and the next AEW champion's probably going to be better than Kenny Omega. It's just hard
because it's going to be Adam Cole.
Bay. Oh God, I hope so. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
I mean, but that would be one of those things where everybody talks about AEW hotshot booking and getting a pass, right?
No, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, I would too.
They'd get a pass from me for sure. They'd put it on the best guy, and I can't say that they wouldn't have done that because they put it on the best guy.
No, man, but I agree with what you're saying. It's like, you know, it would be another thing if Kenny Omega would have called out Bobby Lashley or, you know, who's the champion over there right now? Big E. You know, even if he'd have called out Big E, you know, and like I'm into the Big E title reign. Like,
me too.
I hope he does some good stuff with it, right?
Raw was good. Raw. They gave him the show on him and the New Day.
You know what I want for Big E? Do you know what I really want for Big E? I want Big E to have a chance to get in the ring with Goldberg. I know that I'm the guy that comes in here week after week and shits all over Goldberg, right? Dude gets on my nerves. He doesn't in my mind, in my heart, my hope, my soul, he does not have a spot on that roster, right? But you know, Big E's a fucking Goldberg mark through and through. And like, if that dude can get a chance to get in the ring with Goldberg, man, big ups to him. But he probably gonna lose his belt doing it, because that's just kind of how WWE rolls, right? But you know, I can't get behind this whole Kenny Omega calling out Roman. I really can't, because
I mean,
you know,
he just did it. He just did it to cause so we talk about it.
100%. But you know, this goes back to what we talk about a lot, man. It's like these pot shots towards WWE, right? It's like, man, can we just be over? Somebody else said that a couple weeks ago. It might have been Dreamer before he got pulled off a Busted Open after his stupid shit this past week. You know, but
Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away.
you know, but I mean, WWE, you know, AEW keeps throwing these little pot shots WWE's way, man. It's like, hey, pump your brakes, man. Like, y'all are doing your thing.
And you're doing good. Like,
it's like, don't acknowledge them. You know, it's one thing to be like, hey, you know, Bryan Danielson's a 5-time world champion.
That's fine.
We know that he won those world championships over there.
Yeah.
We know that.
Thank
you for acknowledging that. But at the same point in time, man, shut the fuck up about WWE.
Well, I think the one thing to point out with this is, you know, Roman would say, acknowledge me.
No, that's fair.
And Kenny has acknowledged him.
And
you know who has not acknowledged Kenny? Roman Reigns.
100%.
So, nor should he, nor will he.
I don't think he should either. I think, and here's the thing, right? So when Big E won the WWE championship, what was it, 2 weeks ago on Raw, right?
2 weeks ago, yeah.
Roman sends out a 2-word tweet. Smart decision. And that covered so many bases, man.
Right?
So many bases. It's like, was he talking shit to Big E? Hey, man, you made the smart decision going over to Monday Night Raw and going after Bobby Lashley. Or was he talking to Vinnie Mac? Smart decision putting the belt on Big E. He deserves it. You know what I mean?
A little bit. You know what? Though? Here's the thing is that, you know, truth be told, that Roman and Big E are actually like super good friends. And they really like, they're lifting buddies. Like, right? Like,
yeah.
They like each other in real life. So, smart decision. Kayfabe is good job not coming after my title, because you'd have lost.
Yeah.
And even between friends, like, that's still like, that's the poke you want to make, right? Like that's what I would say to you if you're like, I challenged Derek instead of, right? But like, you made the right decision because I'd have kicked your ass, right? That's the way you want to do that. But at the same time, it's like, you know, to say to you know, Vince McMahon, smart decision putting it on this guy who fucking deserves it.
Yeah, 100%.
And
you know, and smart decision, like finally maybe taking a chance to listen to the fans, right?
Right.
You know,
fans are all over this. Like, this is like the Big E. That's the one thing I watched Raw for, because I knew it was going to be the Big E show, right? He got big pops in the beginning. He's getting those crowd reactions that you want the champion to get. And, you know, I mean, if you watch the first segment and you watch the last segment, which were like sort of the New Day, Big E, Bobby Lashley segments, like, those really are like the bookends of like a really good show. Raw is still Raw. It's too long. It's 3 hours long. There was 2 hours of a good show, of a really good show in here. There was an hour of clear filler, right? It's not good. It's not bad. It's just filler. And to have the filler in there really just sort of drags everything down, because Raw is longer than that pay-per-view was. That pay-per-view was like 2 hours. That pay-per-view was like 2 hours and 45 minutes. Raw's three whole hours.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard, and that pay-per-view had SmackDown and Raw superstars. We're not talking about a half roster kind of thing.
No, yeah.
So we got 3 hours, half a roster, and so
one thing that I want to address, and then we'll move on, man. There's been an outpour on the internet this week of people asking Vince McMahon to step down.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like,
is that something new?
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah,
no, but it's like a groundswell though right now. Like,
good.
You know, and the reasoning behind it is this fucking, you know what? Just this dog shit ending to Extreme Rules.
So
with Finn Balor and Roman Reigns.
So before we get to that, can I rant a bit about just like, there's 5 matches on this card that I want to kind of, no, not even. There's 3 matches on this card that I kind of want to bump one into the other, right?
Yeah,
So the first one is Alexa Bliss versus Charlotte Flair for the Raw Women's Championship, right?
The what?
For the Raw Women's Championship.
Oh, that thing still exists?
Right? I mean, it's on Charlotte. It usually is. Charlotte usually holds something. So anyway,
Learned me something today, pal.
look,
I'm just impressed she's still named Flair.
she totally is. It's real big. It was real big in the marquee. Charlotte Flair. I think the Ric Flair thing's going to blow over, but that's beside the point. So the build to this, I actually really, really liked this match particularly. I really liked the build. Flair was being the best Charlotte Flair she can be. That cocky, like, look, Alexa, what do you want? All right, I want the old Alexa back. What can I do for you, Lexi? And for a couple weeks, this has been building and building and building. This is really like one of the most compelling things that was on Raw. Like even last week's Raw wasn't bad either, but like generally Raw was bad, and but this would be like a good segment in a bad show,
right?
And so they've been building and building and building to this. Finally, so they have the match, right? And they've had this match on just house shows, just getting ready for it. And apparently on house shows, the match was very good. I still think the match itself was fine. It was pretty good. I'm not saying it was a 5-star.
I mean, you got two top tier pros,
right? They both did. They worked their asses off. There were no botches.
Who had a great program 5 years ago. Whenever it was only the women's title. It wasn't just there wasn't two brands, two brand titles at the time. They were the top two.
Yeah, no, and they did. Look, this was a good match. They clearly have a lot of. Knowing backstage, they both like each other. They're both friends. They work really well together. This match was no exception. They really worked well together throughout this match. But this was the first of the screwy finishes, right? So the finish to this match starts. One, Charlotte throws the doll at.
Whoa! Put some respect on
Lily.
That doll.
Okay.
Thank you.
She threw Lily at Alexa.
What's the matter with you?
I know, right? Anyway, throws Lily at Alexa. That sort of gives Alexa the confusion to where Charlotte can hit the natural selection 1, 2, 3 clean in the ring. After that, Charlotte continues to beat on Alexa, throws her out of the ring, over the table, rips Lily to shreds. Right?
Dismemberment comes to mind.
Right. I mean, so two things. One, I feel like maybe that should have been a DQ because they used Lily to. I don't know. It's probably not. It's a doll. I get it. I get why it wasn't. It's fine. I kind of agree with Brian Alvarez on that one. Actually, it's shocking. But
wait, what?
I know.
What's the date today?
It is. It's the 28th of September in the year 2021 of our Lord, which will come into play later. Anyway, and then Alexa proceeds to cry over the doll for about 5 minutes, and her Alka-Seltzer tablet doesn't work because her mouth is dry.
Yes.
Which is not really her fault, but you really need to take a sip of water before but it's fine. Look, I was fine with that, right? The ending, I was like, you know what? That's the payoff of whatever I was going for. And apparently Alexa's going to be off TV for a little while. I think they're going to
get married.
Yeah, she's going to get married, and they're going to retool the character and bring her back as the old Alexa. I think this was the end of the spooky witch, right? And I feel like they brought it down enough to where they could end it and bring Alexa back as Alexa Bliss and have her be, back in the
but
fold.
I feel like there's got to be some sort of payoff to that, right? But my whole thing is I hope they do, because it's goddamn bullshit that they're still using this gimmick after they fired the man that created it. I still feel some sort of way.
Instead of hurt heel, her stuff says play pain.
Yeah.
And she was in full Harley Quinn garb, though. If you notice, she was full Harley Quinn, but she had the lettering was Joker, the Joker, ha 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 ha. Except it said play pain. It didn't say. It was very Batman, and it was very she was sort of, the character has sort of morphed for a live crowd from Spooky Witch to sort of a Joker Harley Quinn mesh of insane jokester trickster with dolls.
I mean, I'd be into it if it wasn't so poorly executed.
Well, I feel like towards the end, the execution was a lot better than it was in the beginning. And once it found its stride, though, I mean, it was dead in the water. It was over, right? It was like nobody was going to take like sort of a spooky cosmic character, and we knew where it came from, and everybody's sour because of what happened to Bray and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel like it was dead in the water, regardless of if they ever figured it out and got it on the right path. It was just never going to make it.
Right.
So this makes sense to me to kill it, and they killed it the way that they did, and that's how I went away with it. Like, okay, that to me is a sufficient enough payoff to something that I had been watching, and maybe Alexa will get a comeback whenever she comes back after she gets married and does whatever. Maybe she'll get a significant comeback, and she and Charlotte, and she'll finally like, I've overcome my demons, and now I got to overcome you, or whatever. Maybe that'll happen, and it probably will. It'll
White meat babyface.
Right. It'll be a cool thing, and I'll be happy with it. So, but that leads me into the next match, which was the first like main title, the second women's title match, which was Bianca versus Becky Lynch. Now, this match was good. It went 18 plus minutes or something.
It was good. And then I felt like I wasted 18 minutes of my life.
Go ahead, Derek. You tell me what you told me. What happened?
Basically, this will not be a long rant. Sasha Banks came in and did what she always does and ruined the fucking segment because
ruined everything.
That's what we're here for.
That's
ruined
what you said.
Everything.
Sasha Banks came out and ruined everything.
Like, and Derek's hatred for Sasha Banks is so fucking deep that like he turned the pay-per-view off.
I did. I have still not finished it. I don't.
He shut it off.
Like,
Yeah,
I could imagine be sitting in that chair next to him, right? And that happened, and him just go, "Oh man, fuck this!" Click, and just be like, "Dude, you want to go out back in the dark and light shit on fire?" I'm like, "Yeah, bud, sure." Like that. That's where he's at with it. You know what I'm saying? But
he was done.
I disagree because here's the thing, right? I'm not buying Becky Lynch as a heel.
No, I'm not.
I wanted to give her. I wanted to give her the opportunity. I really did because I am a Becky Lynch mark. Okay,
right, me too.
There's no fucking secret about it. I really wanted her to be a great heel. She has not figured it out yet. The crowd has not figured it out yet because there's still a segment. There's still a segment of the crowd that's like, "Oh, that's the man, Becky Lynch." It's not the internet community that's like, "Oh, she fucking come back and she just ruined Bianca Belair and they just needed a pop." And this, so that's the segment that hates Becky Lynch, right? Is the quote unquote smart fan, right? And but I'm not buying it, man. I'm just not. Like that first night she came out, she was wearing the red fur. I was like, okay, I could get behind this.
Big time Bex.
She gets it, and like big time Bex is dope,
right?
But like the rest of it, dog shit.
I wouldn't go that
dog
far.
shit.
Nah, I wouldn't go that far.
I will. Dog
That's
shit.
fine. That's fine.
It's
hey, you
shit.
can go that far. That's your
dog
gimmick.
Shit.
Anyway, so as far as that went, but I mean, now we're talking about, we went from a little bit screwy finish to like way screwy finish. And then we get to the main event, right? Main event, something we've been waiting for because I'm excited for it. Because who doesn't want to see the demon, Finn Balor? I know I want to see the demon, Finn Balor. I've got the action figure. I love Finn Balor. Love what he's been doing for the last year. The demon character is great.
Yeah.
I know,
you mean?
Look, you guys can disagree with me, but I even thought the build to this match was great. Like the demon build. I like the okay, fine. You don't have to like it, but I liked it. Okay, it was for me. They did it for me. However, so we get to the match, and the match itself, I feel like, was really good as it started. And then you get the little Uso interference, which I expected. Everybody expected the Usos to interfere in the Extreme Rules match.
Yeah.
And then the demon hulks up, does his demon thing.
You mean when he was fucking the ground?
Yeah, when he fucked the ground. Okay. No, he was on his back for a little bit too. It was also the air. So and then he hulks up, gets up, runs wild, goes crazy, which is a very old pro wrestling thing. Takes out the Usos, takes out Roman, goes, gets him down for the coup de grace, and the ring breaks. Right? And the ring breaks, and the red light goes away. And literally, I went, "Oh, you got to be kidding me!"
Yeah.
And spear 1, 2, 3.
That's what the ring rope made.
Spear 1, 2, 3. That was it.
Fucking dumb.
Well, I think you said you were like, was that a worse finish than Rollins versus the Rollins versus Bray Hell in a Cell? Was that a worse finish? I don't know that it wasn't. It was.
I mean, it's pretty fucking close, bud.
It was the finish, and it was a better match. But it made it a worse finish.
I'll give you that. Like, here's the thing, right? The match was great,
right?
Okay? Like, it was a fantastic Extreme Rules match. I
was getting what I wanted.
A little dose of the Usos, right? We got some kendo sticks. We got this. We got that. I hated everything about this. Okay, I hated the build. I
loved it.
I hated it. Everything about it. Hated it. I told you guys by the time we got to this match, the crowd was dead.
Well, they
gave no fucks.
They just
None.
had they assumed they knew it was coming. They assumed they knew it was coming, and they had just sort of seen two screwy finishes, right?
Yeah. They gave no fucks, right? So they're sitting there sitting on their hands. Okay, Roman Reigns comes out first, which I thought was interesting as shit. Okay,
right?
I really did. Like, I thought that was interesting because I would have liked to have seen Roman come out second, but that just tells me that they're investing in Finn Balor, the demon character. Okay, because we've been getting this shit over the last couple of weeks where they're like, "Oh, Finn Balor's gonna tell us about his alter ego, the demon,
his unbeatable alter ego."
And it's like,
but why are you gonna tell us?
Yeah. And that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at, bud. It's like, listen, you couldn't have just let fucking the Prince go out there and cut these promos that he's been cutting for the last 2 years down in NXT, making everybody look stupid, telling Karrion Kross that, I'm the man. I'm going to take you into the deep waters, and I'm going to show you a part of the ocean you've never been in, and then I'm going to beat you type of shit. Huh? Finn Balor, as the Prince, is where he needs to be. I love the demon character. I think it's fantastic. But you know what I like about the demon character the most?
He doesn't lose.
It's a surprise.
Yeah, that's good too.
Okay, so we got 3 weeks of the demon on television. All right. And then you expect this crowd to give 2 shits that you trotted the demon out here.
See, I don't think it's a surprise because when he first won the Universal Champion, hold on. When he first won the Universal Championship, when it was down to him and Seth Rollins for the first time, he tormented Seth as the demon for several.
But we never saw the demon.
Seth
tormented himself about the demon.
You're right. Seth tormented himself.
That's good storytelling.
Yeah, that was better. Okay, you're right. I stand corrected.
I mean, we saw this guy 3 weeks in a row.
I feel bad. He had to do his makeup 3 weeks in a row.
And like, here's the thing, right? They fucked with his entrance. Like, it looks like they're trying to figure out how to make the demon a more viable week-to-week character, in my opinion. That's what I saw. I
don't know that I'd hate that.
But
I don't hate how they did this, but that's just
they booked themselves into a corner is what they did. And they had to figure out how to get out from behind it. So what do? They make it the John Cena rigs the ropes, and he goes boom, boom, fall down, bye-bye, right? And now all of a sudden we're supposed to be invested and believe in the fact that, the ropes broke. And Derek, I don't know, you still haven't seen it yet, right?
I haven't seen it, but I've heard about it, read about it. I've got a very good sense of what happens. It kind of seemed to me like, Vince got a hair up his ass, and one of his playthings didn't suit his fancy, so he's just gonna fuck with Triple H and ruin everything that he had building down there at NXT, and building on the fact that the Demon had only lost once to Samoa Joe back in 2016.
Yep.
Yeah. So, and now you're just gonna. This is how he's gonna take an L. Yeah, this has Vince McMahon just being petty written all over it. I think. I really think that's where we're at. Is he doesn't care if he ruins his own product to just entertain himself. I guess you could say.
I think he was trying to protect both Roman and the Demon because I agree with Waller.
Clearly, I agree.
I think he wants to continue to use the Demon, but he's got Blood Money 6 to worry about. He's paid Brock Lesnar a good amount of money.
Blood Money 6. Has there been 6 of these now? Seriously?
I don't know. I think this
I would say this is at least 5 or 6. I mean, if you count Super Showdown in Australia as Blood Money 4.
Yeah. Anyway, so Blood Money. We got this oil. What did I call it earlier? Bloody oil money. We got that coming up, and we got to get over it. So I think they want to have Roman, the head of the table, beat Brock Lesnar clean. I think they want to do that. I do think they want to continue to use the Demon, whether they put the Universal Championship on him or they draft him to Raw and have him beat Big E, which might happen. That's actually more likely, I think.
Yeah, that's probably what's going to happen, bud.
But I mean, I think they see. I think Vince sees. Okay, look, I think I got to put I got to put this on the Demon. I got to sell some action figures, some Demon action figures. We let Finn be the ambassador of the NXT brand, and did a pretty good job, right?
Absolutely.
Despite all of the shortcomings of the pandemic, I feel like they want to give the Demon at least a short title run. Whether it probably won't be beating Roman, but if it's on Raw, particularly, people are going to tune in for that. People are going to show up to see Finn Balor. They're going to show up to see the Demon, and I think that's where this is headed, and I think that they just wanted to protect him, or they wanted to protect him in a Vince way, right? And this is a Vince way of protecting him, and that's all there is to it. But I mean, man, so the thing I want to point out about this show and the AEW stuff is that, like, while these were like really good marquees, while they were really good cards, like it was all like no titles changed hands.
None.
There was very little advancement in the storyline. I would say the storyline that advanced the most really was Charlotte versus Alexa, and that was the end of it, right? They finished it. They finished that storyline. I guess Sasha's back, but like she hasn't really been gone that long. So it's not like she's been gone a month and now she's just going to inject herself back into where she was a month ago.
As she should. I disagree with Derek.
I mean, that's it. I think it's fine. I think that advances the story a little bit, but at the same time, had that happened on a SmackDown, it wouldn't have been any different, right? That's fair. That could have been the end to that was a TV worthy match. That could have that could happen on SmackDown. So I don't think that I feel like there were two pay-per-view level things that were basically just house show booking for the most part because they didn't want to advance the storylines.
So I'm glad you brought up the AEW Rampage Dynamite Grand Slam, right? The internet is buzzing about Kenny and DB.
Mm-hmm.
Gentlemen, did okay, sorry.
You're forgiven.
I've been calling this motherfucker DB for the last 15 years, and now all of a sudden you want me to just change it to BD.
Yeah, I didn't even catch it until that took me a minute.
Anywho, so
sharp as a knife.
I didn't watch the match. I have yet to watch the match.
Oh my god.
It's okay. But you know what happened, so
30-minute time limit draw. And apparently
which is the greatest shit ever.
It's not. Hold on, pause, because it's not. I have to correct him. It's gonna.
That was the best ending possible.
No, here's the problem with that. The fact that they called it, this is a TV 20-minute match, that you knew from the start that it was just going to go to a draw, right?
They say that though at the beginning of all their matches.
No, they do not. No,
yes, they do.
No.
Oh, I guarantee you.
I'm gonna go ahead and have to agree with Derek on this one, pal. They do definitely always announce their time limits.
If not always, then the vast majority.
Okay.
Scout's honor.
Even if they do that, it is not hammered by commentary right off the bat.
I will agree with that.
JR don't talk about it. Justin Roberts may announce it, but JR don't talk about it. And JR talked about it, and I think I think that sold him up the river before the match even started. I knew it was going to be a draw. Knew it.
That makes
As
me
it
sad
started,
because
knew
JR
it.
advertises himself as being one that never ever wants to know the finish, never wants to know what's going to happen so that it doesn't influence his commentating. And obviously, right there, Tom has a prime example as to why that is the case.
He knew. He knew. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It was basically announced to us. It was hammered by commentary, and then there was never any tension because they never announced there's 5 minutes remaining in the match, 2 minutes remaining in the match. There was none of that. It just ended at whatever point they decided to end it. And you know what? That could have been done better. The match itself was fine. Hold on. The match itself was fine. It was the best match Kenny Omega's had in AEW. However, that is thanks to Daniel Bryan. And like I said before,
said that a couple weeks in a row.
Right. And I'm just gonna
Bryan
say,
Danielson.
Bryan Danielson, yes.
No,
and I'm just gonna.
I'm talking about you saying that's the best match Kenny's had in AEW. You said that quite a few weeks in a row these days, there. But
well, okay, so he's been building to it. He's just been doing better and better and better. Anyway, I'm just going to reiterate my point that I've also hammered home for the last several months. Finally, some good fucking talent on AEW.
Hey, pal, are you a closet Kenny Omega fan? Do you have something you need to tell us?
No?
Are you sure?
Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I really am not a fan. I wanted to be a fan, but now I'm really a sourpuss about it.
So
Very sour.
the thing that you're down on that they didn't like give you any build towards the end. So as somebody who hasn't watched a match, I'll just tell you what I heard. A lot of people seem to be into the fact that they didn't sell the fact that the match was coming to an end, so that it had a little bit more of a shocking ending.
Well,
I was straight up confused when the bell rang for about 3.5 seconds, and it's like, oh, it's a time limit. Gotcha.
I knew it was coming. I was like, is this time up yet? What's going on? Oh, there it is. All right, there we go. Time limit.
Anyway, man.
So, Derek,
I knew it.
You clearly enjoyed the match.
I'm too.
I clearly enjoyed it. I very much enjoyed it.
The problem is I'm too smart for this shit. Like, I'm too smart for AEW.
Oh,
and
Derek, he just said you were dumb.
Yeah, that's
I'm
all
not
right.
saying-
I
I'm
let
not
myself
saying
get involved in it like it's a movie.
I'm not saying he's dumb.
I'll fucking say it. You're dumb, pal.
I'm not saying he's dumb. I'm just saying I'm smarter than he is. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I look pretty dumb today. I know that. Like, I look like I just got off of a couch. So I ain't worried about it today.
But you did.
I look like dog shit.
Oh, well.
Which is not abnormal, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean,
Before anybody tries to go there, I'll just throw it out there. But
if
yeah,
you'd have put a hat on, I'd have been like, "Oh, Derek's fine."
That's
yeah,
fair.
I didn't even.
That's fair.
I think
You're
it was like 8:45 or something. I was like, "Oh shit! Like I don't have time for anything." Whatever time it was, I felt bad. I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. I didn't know how long.
Yeah, we'd have gone without you.
Yeah,
I'd been being paged for. Until I was found on the couch.
I've been trying to call you for at least an hour and 20.
Yeah, apparently I was out a while. I was informed I had a fever.
Anyways, why don't you tell me about this match? Bud?
So, man, fantastic match. Two guys at the top of their game, just going at it, buddy. I really enjoyed it, and I know that I am not. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm the biggest Daniel Bryanson fan. Bryan Danielson. Sorry.
Yeah.
At least I put it
Bryanson
on the end of it.
I can't even say anything. I did it a couple of weeks ago.
It's going to be tough for a little while. Yeah, I mean, hey, it's not that I hate him, overall, but he's just not my favorite. That's all. And yeah, put on a hell of a match, and I was happy to see that the time limit draw was actually, put in play, used. Yeah, I can't. No, I don't like it. Like, and everybody still does it.
Well, yeah,
I don't think he does it to the ring, does he? Does he still do it to the ring?
He said he's not going to do that because he respects WWE's intellectual property.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if he was allowed or if he would, or yeah.
You know what they don't do in AEW?
I guess
they still do in WWE though. Is the what chance? What?
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 Yeah.
Those are great.
Oh, I love
Not
him
to
so
get veered far off topic, but I'm surprised Adam Cole still has
That's
basically
fine.
the same entrance.
What? I mean, he had that entrance in Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been how many years now? And like, I just figured
It's-
after it's been on a big main event television, not that Ring of Honor, Ring of Honor's not grabbing eyeballs. So
don't try to fucking fix what isn't broken, man. That's like
yeah,
that was the big thing that's come out this week, I guess. Like with the Adam Cole call up to the main roster, I guess they wanted to shave his head, change his name because they didn't want to confuse him with Michael Cole.
I don't think there'd be confusion.
And Adam Cole was just like, "Nah, man, I'm good. You're gonna take 15 years that I worked to build this up, and you just want to change it? Nah, man, I'm good. Go fuck yourself."
Yeah.
He won't say it that way, but that's exactly what he was fucking thinking.
He certainly went, I'll give it some consideration, and then did not pick up the phone.
He walked out the office. He walked out of Vinnie Mac's office, and he went, go fuck yourself.
He walked out, and he was like, well, done.
He tries to spin it that he was laying in bed and he got all excited like a 9-year-old watching Saturday night's main event. Motherfucker, they told you they were going to shave your head, change your name, and you went, go fuck yourself.
And you went,
Mm-hmm.
Can't say.
Well, especially because at that time he clearly there was a deal on the table. Like,
but do you know what the best part of Grand Slam was? The absolute best part of Grand Slam.
Go ahead, because I want to know if it's the same thing that I think is the best part.
Maxwell Jacob Friedman's parents.
Yeah, that was really
that was
good stuff
of Grand Slam.
That's not where I was going, but I liked it.
They did an interview, and she was like, "He's terrible. He's terrible." And his dad goes, "I don't know where we went wrong."
It's so hard.
That's
and
great.
It kayfabed so hard online too. It was oh my god! Like I've never. God, how much do I love MJF? Like
they get it.
Oh boy, do they?
Yeah,
they get
exactly.
They get it more. He gets it more than anybody has ever got it, and has got it for 40 years. Good Lord, does he get it? Holy crap! Like just give me that guy. Just give him his own TV all day.
I'm into it, man.
Yeah,
good for them,
man.
Good for them.
Kayfabe is alive and well, and its name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman.
Fantastic name too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, and just the whole thing. The whole thing is just.
It's all Uber heat.
Oh my god, he's the only. It's. Do you remember when Kevin Owens and Elias really like dogged on Charlotte and just got like Charlotte the city, not Charlotte Flair?
No, that was in Seattle.
Or in Seattle, you're right, and just got like the booze just rained down upon them, and it was the most heat you had heard in 20 years. Like this is like that's MJF every day. It's just like, man, is he good? So yeah, no, I'm into it.
So lots of wrestling this week, guys. It's gonna be hard, but I guess we got to kind of narrow down a match of the week this week.
It's gonna be hard, like a penis.
Wow, you went there.
I've been getting a lot of those hymns, like ads on my Facebook. I don't know why. Like I don't have.
Oh, my bad.
Jesus, stop tagging me in that stuff. What the hell?
I follow the page, so now the aggregate's gonna go and fuck with the algorithm's gonna fuck with all my friends. And
look, man, my soldier stands at attention just fine. I'm sorry for your loss.
Oh man.
Anyway, back to reality.
We lost Walt. Oh, there we go.
Walt had to leave.
Just looked dumb.
Walt had to leave. No, I loved it. I'm down for it. What does everybody love? Anyway, so match of the week. Ooh boy. Actually, I'm gonna go with, because it's Tuesday. My match of the week is actually the cage match that happened yesterday on Monday Night Raw, which was a one Big E versus a one Mr. Bobby Lashley. And oh boy, and I'm going to give you a couple reasons why. One, it was solidification of the reuniting of the Hurt Business, because fuck, I love the Hurt Business.
Once I get MVP back, man.
Yeah, I mean, business is booming. I love the Hurt Business, and I'm 100% in on reuniting the Hurt Business. 2, not only the Hurt Business get involved, but the New Day got involved, and one of my second favorite spot, because remember, my number 1 favorite spot is when a dude hits a dude with another dude, but my number 2 favorite spot is when somebody's trying to crawl out of the cage, somebody runs in out of nowhere and smashes the cage into their head. And Xavier Woods smacked Bobby Lashley with the cage door right in his skull, knocked him unconscious.
Nobody took that spot better than Mick Foley when China did it, though.
That's because he was almost dead.
He took that for real. That wasn't selling. That was the cage actually rattled against his skull, and he was unconscious. He took a little nap. He took a little nap. But that was it had that spot, and Big E actually pinned him, big ending off the top rope. Just pinned him clean in the middle of the ring. They kicked everybody out. They kicked the guys out during the commercial break, but like Kofi also did a really cool thing where he ran down the ramp, did a big leap onto the cage, climbed up through, I think it was Cedric who was up there, like got Cedric off, and then did this like trust fall into Cedric and help me out here, Shelty B.
Shelton Benjamin.
Shelton Benjamin.
Sorry.
And it was just, you're good. I came back around. My brain remembered. Just like go watch it. It was so fun. It was, and it had a clean ending. And I think maybe like I was very sour from the night before for non-clean endings. And so like a really great cage match with a really clean ending that just like, again, the cage door off the head is like, for me, I feel like every time that happens is like, man, I remember it, and it's so fun. It's like one of the best spots, and it's not a like big like dive spot or anything dumb like that. It's just a like whack, and it's like, oh Jesus, it's like it probably doesn't even hit him.
It always looks so goddamn brutal,
right? Every time it just looks brutal, and so that's my match of the week, because it was just. It was those couple of spots that like that was just a little part, but and then there was a clean ending, and it just, to me, it was like, oh well, why wasn't that the main event last night? Why was that the main event on Raw? Like, why did I have to slog through 2.5 hours of Raw to watch that? Like, that should have been the main event last night. But I digress.
And here's the thing: so I haven't watched Raw in like 2 months. So like, you were kind of gushing over Raw a little bit there yesterday.
It was yummy. It was good.
Have to check
today.
It out.
Today, it was earlier today.
Yeah, I might have to check it out.
It was fun. It was. If you think something's going to be dumb, feel free to fast forward through it, because it is Raw and there is a slog.
That's fair.
But like, if you think, oh, I'm interested in these people and this might be interesting, watch that segment, because it is.
So I'll be interested to see what happens on Friday on SmackDown with the draft, right? To see who Raw takes with their first pick. To see if that's going to be enough to make me want to watch Monday Night Raw.
I don't know. I think they probably take Drew, and then Big E has to defend against Drew on Monday, and then Big E beats Drew, and then Drew goes to SmackDown. I think that's my call for first pick.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
You know what I hate about all this though is it's so obvious who the main guys are. Like,
oh yeah,
I so want just like Keith Bearcat Lee to come out there and take the title from Roman. Like hear me out. Like, seriously, if he came out and took it from Roman, would you ever expect that?
No. And I'd be down.
And what did that? What? Go on.
I'd be down with that. I feel like they need to build the Bearcat, because I feel like he's supposed to be a heel. He's not quite built to that. Like, but I mean, if they draft him to SmackDown and they continue to build him, and that happens, like I'll be like, it'll be like when Mick Foley won on Raw. When Mick Foley won the title on Raw. It'll be that level of like,
right?
It'll put the butts in the seats.
So real quick, I'm glad you brought up Keith Lee. So apparently, last week we were dogging on this Bearcat thing, right? So apparently this is a homage to a professional wrestler named Bearcat Wright from the 1950s and 60s, who, despite racial tensions, won the WWA World Heavyweight Championship. And apparently that's somebody that Keith Lee is kind of really into. So he kind of took on his moniker a little bit. So
I do feel like he needs to be Bearcat Keith Lee or Bearcat Lee, and it needs.
I can go with Bearcat Lee.
I don't like Keith.
Yeah, I like Bearcat Lee.
It's like when they announce who, I don't know how big of metal fans you guys are, but Steve Zeusa is the lead singer and has been lead singer for Exodus for whatever a zillion years, except for when Rob Dukes was in there for a little bit. But Steve Zeusa's stage name is Zetro. However, anytime they talk about him, they're like Steve Zetro Zeusa, and it's one, he's the singer of Exodus who's been fired twice. He's not that famous that you have to give him that. It's either call him Zetro or call him Zetro Sousa or just call him Steve Sousa. And I feel like they're doing that same kind of thing. And maybe that's a bias for me because
but I think that's a fair opinion.
It's dumb when they do. It's dumb when Exodus does it. It's dumb when WWE does it. Fix it. He's either Bearcat Lee, he's either the Bearcat Keith Lee, the Viper Randy Orton,
right,
or whatever. It just don't just throw it in the middle of his name. That feels clunky.
It does feel real clunky, and we shit all over this last week.
It's just because it feels clunky. Bearcat's not a bad moniker for a wrestler. I feel like it's not a bad moniker. It's just clunky where it is.
Especially somebody that moves like he does and looks like he does. So, Derek, match of the week, bud.
Already been through it, fellas. It was Daniel Bryan, Kenny Omega. I enjoyed it, loved it. I loved the finish. I got to repeat that again. I love the fucking finish, Tom. It was great.
Tom,
wait, what'd you say?
You're gonna take that from him, Tom.
It's fine.
It's so good.
The fact that I knew it was coming and that it was a screwy finish in a week of screwy finishes with very nothing was satisfying, and this was the first. This was the tip of the iceberg of unsatisfying matches with unsatisfying endings.
Really?
Kenny Omega looked like he was hurt throughout the whole match. It was a good match, and I'm not saying it wasn't a good match, but it's good. It's fine. It's fine. I'm glad you liked it. It was a match for you, and I'm glad you I'm finally happy that you saw a Daniel Bryan match that you thought was good. Bryan Danielson. Excuse me. I corrected Walt earlier, and here I am being a dick about it. But I'm glad you finally saw a Bryan Danielson match that was good for you. However, Bryan Danielson has had better matches with literally every single person on the WWE roster for the last 15 years. And then he comes out there and drags Kenny Omega through a good match for 20 minutes to a time limit draw. Okay. Yeah. He dragged Kenny Omega's limp dick corpse through a 20-minute match. Jesus. And it was still good because Daniel Bryan is good. Okay. He could have that match would have been better if it was Daniel Bryan versus Adam Cole or one of the Young Bucks or fucking Powerhouse Hobbs or Taz. They could just drag Taz off commentary, be like, here you go, old man, put these tights on. Taz will look all shitty, and Daniel Bryan will have a better match with him. It was fine. Okay, he dragged Kenny Omega's limp corpse through a match, and it was a good match because Daniel Bryan is better than everybody else at this, and that's what he did. That's all there is to it.
I don't feel that the time limit draw is a letdown, though. I don't feel like it's a shit finish or a screwed finish or anything like that. If anything, it's underutilized, and it needs to be part of the show. I loved it that was involved. I don't think we've seen one of those. Maybe this is the third one we've seen total in AEW's existence. I just felt like that really tied the room together. Really tied the room together with me.
It's less than 10. I want to say there's maybe between 3 and 5. I don't know, man. I don't know. It was good. I'm not saying it was my favorite match of the week. I don't even think it was my favorite match on that show, but it was fine. It was good.
Hey, you know what we didn't do is grades for the pay-per-view. We should throw that in real quick.
Oh man, I gotta give it it's the grade for the pay-per-view has to be a D just for how it finished. The last
I was gonna say C- because I didn't see the last match.
I mean, it's like the matches, if you're just talking quality of matches, the matches were all B+, right? But if you want to talk about the booking and the finishing, it's solid D. Like it's the wrestlers in WWE are very good. The booking in WWE is very bad. And that needs to rectify because these wrestlers need to be able to have good matches that have good finishes. And then, like, the booking needs to not be just like
Not suck.
literally. I mean, I can't say literally everybody walked out of there like, fuck you, fuck this. Like, it's how could you not be upset?
I listened to Busted Open today about Extreme Rules, and Bully Ray quoted a tweet that I think sums up our feelings here, gentlemen. I really enjoy watching the wrestling, but the product is terrible.
Yeah. That's a nail on the head right there. That's the truth. Not one person left that show happy. I don't know how you could have.
When I turned it off, I just was like, I immediately went to the group message, guys. It's like, bro, I can't believe that this is what they gave us. And that's when I said this is a worse finish than the Hell in the Cell between Seth Rollins and The Fiend. Like, and then it was funny because I said that, and then I was sitting here watching Broken Skull Sessions because the drip god Seth Rollins was a guest. And he said, man, I walked through the curtain after that match, and I looked Vince McMahon right in the eye, and all I could think is how bad I wanted to strangle him.
I'm glad that it seems like The Fiend felt the same way, too.
Yeah.
Like, neither of those guys were cool with how and apparently, I remember going into that match, they were both like, yeah, we had no idea they were going to do that red light thing. That was a surprise to us.
So how about
we didn't like it either.
so how about real quick? There's like this whole thing going on that like everybody thinks that Bray's going to end up back in WWE.
No. I don't think he will.
No.
I'll be interested.
I'm not even going to say he's going to be in AEW. I wouldn't be surprised if he went to Impact, honestly.
No, that's fair too.
Yeah.
So, all right, my match of the week. I had two guys. I couldn't decide. I have an honorable mention though. Honorable mention goes to Gino Medina versus Casey Navarro at MLW Alpha 1.
Wow.
What a great match.
You watched Extra Wrestling?
I did watch Extra Wrestling.
No wonder you didn't have time to fit everything in. Look at you.
Yeah, I watched Extra Wrestling this week. I really enjoyed this match, guys. It was like a technical, high-flying, just fun fest, man. I really, really was into it. I think I'm going to keep watching MLW. It's on YouTube now. Vice is going to do their pay-per-views. So like I think this is a pretty good spot. Man, the crowd was fucking lit at MLW. So I'm gonna pay attention a little bit more, I think, especially now that their little alpha show is on YouTube every week. Yeah, I'll be into it. So now I have a tie for match of the week. So one of my matches of the week is WrestleMania 17. The Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus the Hardy Boys. Because I watched it.
Can't argue that.
Week. And God bless America. What a great fucking match. What a great match.
Mm-hmm.
Way ahead of its time. And they just did the damn thing. Legendary match. And then I had TJP versus Davey Richards also off of MLW Alpha 1. What a fantastic display of professional wrestling this match was.
TJP.
Take 20 minutes, go out of your way, go to YouTube, check out MLW Alpha 1. There's a timestamp thing on the bar. Check out TJP versus Davey Richards. Davey Richards is a fucking star.
Yeah, he is.
Goodness gracious. He's got a look that like nobody else has. He's just so fucking basic, but he's got like cauliflower ears and like he kind of reminds me of Nick Aldis a little bit. And the way that the announce team was putting him over and they were telling the story of this match, and then you just back it up with this fantastical technical wrestling match. God bless, man. I was just into it, and I just couldn't believe that this was on fucking YouTube. That's how much I enjoyed this match. So I'm into it, man.
Gotta love TJP too. I always like it.
He's so much fun.
right? So
And
good.
like he's such a heel. Like
Yeah.
these guys were in the crowd were chanting TJP's a pussy, and like he was like, "Oh yeah, watch this," and it's just. But I'm telling you what, man, Davey Richards. I guess he's like deep into his career,
Yeah,
but
he's too old for.
he's gonna be a star for MLW, and I can't wait to watch it. So yeah, that's my match of the week.
All right, we got through it. Derek,
Yeah.
you're not dead. Good job.
Derek, you look great.
No.
Pal.
You look better
feel-
now, actually.
Yeah.
You
me a minute.
look rejuvenated.
I'm concerned that you're not going to sleep this evening.
You
though.
look like
Oh no,
you look
I'm gonna turn on a MLW A1 whatever A1 sauce.
I'm
and-
gonna put on some super indie wrestling and pass the fuck out.
Yep.
So the match that opened this show was the Von Erichs versus I don't know who the fuck in a bunkhouse brawl.
Those guys got to be 1,000 by now, right?
Who, the Von Erichs?
Yeah.
No. It's the
Oh, these are-
sons of
these
the
are new-
last
these are
remaining
like-
Von Erich. It's the new breed.
Oh, the new. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So
They're young
It's
and
baby Von Erich.
they look good, man. But that match was dog shit. It was
Well.
bad. I'd have much rather watch them just wrestle a match.
Wow.
Instead of that gimmick that they put out there because it was bad. They had Home Depot buckets in the corners with 2x4s in them.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, we're good on all that. But
Okay. Well,
yeah.
That's why it's not the prime times.
But it was a good show. It was
Okay.
a good show. I enjoyed the
trust you.
show. I'm not gonna lie. It was an hour. I enjoyed it.
All right.
Check it
well,
out.
it's just an hour. All right.
Check it
All
out.
right.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here, Derek. I appreciate the fact that your wife woke you up from your Rona your Rona hibernation there.
Yeah. I thank you guys for getting me up because otherwise I'd probably woke up at like 3 a.m. and obviously that would have been a long day tomorrow because I wouldn't have been back to sleep. So obviously I'd have been asleep.
And
at
then
that
you would have
point.
had to
So
have
it's
dealt
like-
with me for an entire week because you missed a fucking recording.
Yes. Then there would have been that as well. That
To
and
be
then-
fair to you, I'd have been like, leave him alone. Leave him alone. He was sick.
He's got the almost Rona.
He's got the fake. He's got the not Rona, but like nobody's had bronchitis in 2 years.
It sure does act like Rona, but it ain't the Rona.
Nobody's had
Stop.
bronchitis in 2 years. So
Hey, pal, all I'm saying is I had to go break out the argument bottle because of you guys. So
It's still happening.
I'm glad there's
we
still
got it
whiskey in
done.
that.
I'm
Glad
going to
there's
have
still-
to replace it here soon.
I'm glad there's still whiskey in the bottle.
Well, good. Next week we're just gonna put a fucking hurting on you once I'm
You
feeling
guys
normal again.
bicker like a married couple up there. So, So we're
Because I
going to go
love
ahead and
them.
get up on out of here. If you're watching us on YouTube, you know that we exist. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Audio folks, we appreciate you so very much. I feel like we're growing a little bit every week. Tell your friends, man, it's great. It's great. We have a lot of fun doing this. I mean, I do at least. I don't know about Tom and Derek, but
This is a slog every week. No,
It's the low light of my week.
this fucking guy. Tom missed us so much because I got stuck at work yesterday that he live streamed on his YouTube channel over there. And if you're into beer and yo-yos, go check him out over
I
Throws
didn't
and
even
Brews.
do that. I argued with a guy about why I wasn't gonna risk money to throw a contest in the middle of a pandemic.
Comment of the fucking day. I'm not gonna put my money where your mouth is, bud.
No,
And I just said, go Tom.
not.
That's what I'm talking about right there, pal.
well, here's the thing: is that I've already been told by a dozen of my sponsors who are legitimate, these are the guys that pay for the contest, right? They're just like, nah, man, I'm not ready to I'm not ready to travel for a thing yet. And I'm like, no, that's fair. And this guy's like, just put it on to see what happens. I'm like, you don't understand. There's cost involved. It's not just risk-free roll of the dice, right? It's if you put on a big wrestling show and it sells no tickets. I'm sorry. What?
Kind of like Monday Night Raw at the UBS Center.
The venue's still going to be that's all it is to it. And then if I'm not Vince McMahon either. I ain't got them billions and billions of dollars. Just be like, there's $10,000 for the arena, pal. Or whatever Vince says. Bad shit. Whatever. Anyway, good night, everybody. Sleep tight.
Hey, and as always, thanks for hanging out. It's all love. We'll catch you next week. One Fall WrestleCast.
PC poo, people.